Hard-fought win. Give Jeff and his crew a ton of credit, man. They came out ready to play. They kicked our tail for a good half or more of the game, and I think he's going to do a really good job here. I mean, he's got a toughness to him. You could feel it in their team, and I think the future's bright with him here leading those guys. Not the kind of football we want to play. That probably is the most undisciplined game we played since I've been the head coach here. Not proud of that. I think we had 11 penalties for over 100 yards that were accepted. So just some really self-inflicted wounds. It made it really hard on our offense for about really the first half to get any kind of momentum or anything going, because as soon as we get a first down, it felt like we were in 2nd and 15 or 2nd and 20 and 1st and 20 because of penalties we had. But we found a way to win in the fourth quarter. I think down 2 scores, ball on our own 2-yard line with around 2 minutes to go. Guys dug deep, so it's not always how you win, it's that we won, and we're 1-0.
So early in that game, Preston throws a pick on his first pass, struggles a little bit early on. You put Kevin in, you choose to go with Preston after that, even after Kevin goes 4 for 5. Can you talk a little bit about the decision to trust him and then what you saw from him from that out?
Well, like I said, Preston won the starting job. He's our starter. But both guys are going to play. They deserve to play. And our plan all along, I know we didn't share it with y'all, was Kevin was going to play the 3rd and 4th series. Like, that's fair to him. Let Preston start the game, and then Kevin can see it those 2 drives and get a feel for what the defense is doing, and then Preston gets to come off and see the defense a little, and Kevin gets to come in and not have 1 drive. He's got 2, because sometimes as a quarterback, I got 1 drive, you press and you try to do more than you need to do. And then we were going to put Preston back in the 5th series and go from there and see how the game went. Definitely, if you'd asked me, I would have thought we would have played Kevin more. I mean, he had our only touchdown drive in the first half, did a great job, and he's going to continue to play. But the way the game went, we weren't getting a lot of time of possession. We weren't getting a lot of possessions. Obviously, we were down. I think it really hurt us when we opened the second half. We gave up the touchdown right before half. We do go get a field goal, and then we get a stop, and then we have a penalty, give them the ball, and it ended up taking like 8 minutes, 6, 7, 8 minutes, I don't know what. And now we're down 2 scores, and you don't want to go back and forth. So you got to go with someone. And like I said, he earned the starting job. He's got the experience, so we stuck with him, and it worked out. But it had nothing to do with us not fully believing in Kevin. You're going to see more of Kevin.
Coach, who's doing the communicating when you're telling Kevin, you're telling Preston, this is what we're going to do as the game is going on?
Yeah.
Is that you?
Yeah, well, like I said, we told him what to expect going in. Hey, Preston's going to go the first 2 drives. Kevin, you're going to come in 3rd and 4th. We'll go back to Preston and go. And it doesn't matter how your drives go. That way they're not feeling like the outcome hangs on everything. And then Coach King and I just talk between drives, and he kind of lets them know. And like I said, the game obviously went a direction that made it hard when you're having limited options. If you start going back and forth, you don't let either guy get in a rhythm, that could be a challenge. And like I said, Preston went down to start the second half. I think we started to look like SMU football a little bit. We got points, and we started moving the football, and we just didn't want to go back and forth when time was running out on us. But yeah, we communicate.
As a coach, you've got to be proud of both of those guys. You're a quarterback. You play quarterback collegiately. To accept it, deal with it, and run with it.
I am. I'm proud of both of them. I don't know if you saw Kevin's drive. We score and come off, and him and Preston do some sort of handshake. I don't know. It's cool for them, but just the way they celebrate each other. And I'm sure Kevin is disappointed he didn't play more, but he's going to keep playing because they're both really good. And look, not a lot of people play 2 guys. We got 2 guys that led us on touchdown drives today that are capable of playing. And hopefully we get in a rhythm more offensively where we get more drives and more opportunities, and we can do that. But yeah, credit both those guys for how they handle it, because how those guys handle it permeates through our team, and they're team guys and they're for each other.
Can you talk about RJ? I think it was 10 minutes ago. Was that deep pass to him to get the drive going, and then obviously the final drive to win the game?
I think honestly, and RJ I'm going to tell this to him tomorrow. He played as bad a first half as I've ever seen him play, just like we kind of did. And he played about as good a second half as I've ever seen him play, right? And so that's what's weird about football. We tried to get him involved early in the game. I think we threw him a quick screen, got a holding penalty. We just never got going. And I think you saw even on the first drive of the second half, we got him a couple touches, which we ended up kicking a field goal, and it just kind of got him in the flow. And then it all kind of hit. We had the ball on the 2. We had our first scrimmage of fall camp the last thing we did was put the ball backed up, so it's called, on the 2-yard line. And the offense went 98 yards for a touchdown and had a really big, just a really good drive, executed some third downs. You know, I think we actually threw a seam throw to Matt Hibner, and he caught it on that drive then. So right before that drive, it was a TV timeout, and just told them, hey, you guys remember that 98-yard drive? First scrimmage? They're like, yeah. I was like, well, we need it now. So we're going to go down and score. We're going to go for 2. Defense is going to stop, you know, et cetera. And credit them with believing it and doing it. We get RJ on third down matched up on a linebacker, and the rest is history for us.
The last 8 minutes or so, obviously you got a defensive stop, you got the winning touchdown, but the body language of your team seemed to change. Like there's a different urgency. Is there something said on the sideline, or what changed there in those last minutes?
I felt like we were ready to play. Clearly we weren't, and that's my job. I mean, the penalties, sometimes you're over ready to play. Like it's been a long good off season, and we had a lot of guys like ready to play, and we feel like we have a good football team. We didn't show it most of the game today, but we do. And we were really, really flat. And again, I think Nevada had a lot to do with that in the first half. At halftime, we just talked about, hey, it's time to dig deep, play SMU football. I think we started to do that in the third quarter. Again, the penalty that allowed them to have an extended drive really kind of thwarted our momentum a little bit. But we always call it up to start the fourth quarter because finishing is a big part of what we want our program to be known for. And we called it up. It was 24-13, I think, then, and I don't remember what I said. I don't know if it mattered what I said, but they got it done. So
to go off of that a little bit, in the offseason you talked about how much experience and leadership this team has. How much does that help you and the team as a whole in moments like early in that fourth quarter when you're down 2 scores to know you're still in the game?
It helps a lot. Helps a lot having experienced quarterbacks, having experienced guys on offense, and obviously on defense when we needed stops. And I think we started pressing a little bit in the first half when we weren't playing well. The script wasn't going how we wanted it to go. I didn't call a very good game at all, specifically the first half. Like, you can throw that one away, But we settled down. We just started trusting each other, calling plays to make plays, guys making plays on both sides of the ball. The experience, we're going to need it. And like I said, I've been on part of teams that we've lost games like that, but we find a way to win games like that early in the year, and it ends up really helping us later in the season. So hopefully we'll learn a lot of lessons from it, but we'll be able to draw on that because there's going to be another time this year in the fourth quarter we're down 2 scores, and we know we can do it.
Coach, what about the composure and unsportsmanlike issues that were permeating throughout the game? Can you comment on that?
I don't love it at all. It's not who we are. It's not who we want to be. So I will look at the film. I know early in the game Jordan Hudson got spit on, so then he pushed the guy in the helmet back, which you can't do. So they called a flag on him and the other side too. It's hard, guys. It's really hard for guys to control their emotions when they get spit on, but they got to. And then same thing later. Again, I'll have to see the clip. The officials make calls, and we got to live with it, and they do a good job running the game. So we'll look at the film where we can be more disciplined, where we can do a better job. That's not who we want to be, so anything we did out of character will be addressed, and guys will go on the field that are going to represent SMU the right way.
So was that just something the referees must have missed because they then called crossing for the same thing?
Correct, which, again, I don't know. The call was made, and we respect it. Brandon feels like it happened the other way, but he's out of the game because whatever we did to put ourselves in a position to where that could be thought of, that's on us. And it cost us him, and it cost our team. And so we got to be better than that. We got to have composure. There's a difference between playing with passion and emotion. We were emotional a lot tonight. We got to be passionate. Big difference.
You got the safety late. Is that defensive set designed specifically to go get a safety, or simply plug gaps, and if you get the safety, that's a nice byproduct of it?
Yeah, no, I think it was just a matter of we had them backed up. They obviously been running the ball a lot. I think we probably felt good about it, and our guys just got to push. And, look, ball sitting on the 1 yard line, our defense gets a little more motivated to get a push. And same thing happened on the other. When we were on the 2, we were able to run it out, and they weren't. And if you look at it, those two moments probably were the difference in the game.
Rashard Smith had a pretty strong outing today. What did you see from him?
What we thought we'd see from him. Super explosive. He's got to get in better shape. But I think he had 11 carries for over 60 yards maybe. Caught some passes. Obviously the kickoff return past midfield got us going. He's explosive. You can tell when the ball is in his hands. He's got a different gear. in a good way, and he's just a really good all-around player. So, we had him in the past as a receiver, and he's played predominantly receiver, but our familiarity with him when he came here, we said, you're going to play running back, and he's embraced it. And, I think between him, LJ, and Rooster, they all did some really good things tonight to help us win.
The defensive line has a lot of new faces on it. It seems like they really started to play well together in the second half with the safety, getting some of the sacks and the pressures on that last drive. Is that something where you expect them to improve as they just get to play with each other more and more often?
I think so. I think we were frustrated. I think Nevada did a great job of frustrating us because they run the ball a lot with the quarterback and motions, and it's a lot of unbalanced, and it's not normal. Our guys want people to drop back pass and get after it, right? And it's not the game that was being played. You look what Georgia Tech did today to win. That's the formula they used, and so credit them with doing it. And fortunately, late in the game, we got them in must-pass situations, and we were able to kind of play to our strengths. But we're gonna have to stop the run and run the ball better to win moving forward.
Coach, there's a lot of journalists who don't want me to ask you this question. How do you know Jeff Cho? What's your familiarity with him? This is his first game.
Yeah, we're not incredibly familiar. I mean, I know he spent the last 3 years at Texas. He told me pregame, I didn't know his parents, I think, were from Dallas-Fort Worth, went to Irving High School. I didn't know that because I know he's been on the West Coast a lot. But, I know he was at Boise, and I know he was at Washington maybe, and some other places out west a lot. And, when he was head coach at Montana State, I believe. Teams take on the identity of their head coach, you hope. And I think in one game you can see they're going to have the identity of him because he's hard-nosed, tough, culture type guy, and I think his team played with the edge he's going to want them to play with moving forward. So we know of each other. We've never worked together or spent a lot of time other than the last couple of years in Texas. You'd see each other a little bit, throughout the state, but got a lot of respect for him. Think he's going to do a great job here.
We heard RJ broke the rock. Was it an easy decision to give it to him, or were there
Yeah.
other candidates up for that honor?
Especially after games like that, as I'm walking, I usually let Grizz tell me. Grizz told me he had, I don't know what he had. He told me he had something for 160 or whatever, and I was like, man, you make the call. I'm good. I'm out. I'm done for now. And but it was definitely well deserved. He hit it, but he didn't hit it head on. So he's a little bit better at catching seam balls and breaking the rock. But I'm glad he got to do it.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank
Thanks.
you.